Tough Love opens with Nolan jotting down a list of repairs for his new house when Henry, Zane Emery, and his girlfriend Abigail, Madeline Coughlin, show up unexpectedly. They give him a scare with a fake pregnancy announcement, only to reveal they're actually engaged. As they start talking about setting a wedding date, a light suddenly catches fire, and Nolan quickly jumps into action to fix it. Over at Chen's place, she's venting to West about her guy problems when her mom shows up with some heavy news. Her parents are getting divorced. She's decided it's best to crash at Chen's for a while. Back at the precinct, Gray reminds Harper about the importance of keeping up with patrol paperwork, and though she's not thrilled, she agrees. During roll call, the team talks about using friendlies, also known as confidential informant. While Harper is unusually upbeat about the topic, Gray informs Chen and Nolan that working with CS will be part of their next training phase. At the end of the meeting, Lopez convinces Gray to let West join the training, hoping he can keep pace with the other rookie. With West on board, Lopez already has the perfect CI in mind, but it won't come cheap. As Nolan leaves the station, he runs into Armstrong, and they chat about Henry's engagement. Armstrong suggests running a background check on Abigail, planting a sea of doubt in Nolan's mind. Later, Nolan approaches his CI prospect, Bianca Eve Harlow, who bolts when she realizes she has drugs in her bag. Harper ends up being unexpectedly supportive during their conversation with Bianca, and Nolan appreciates it. Bianca agrees to help them track down her supplier, but fears it could cost her life. She asks to use the bathroom first, but Harper catches her before she can make a run for it. Bianca meets with her contact and hands the drugs back before returning to the hotel. Harper, Nolan, and the detectives then move in and seize a large stash of heroin from the suspect. But when they check on Bianca again, they find her high and bleeding on the floor. Grace informs them that Bianca will pull through, leading to a bit of awkward back and forth between her and Nolan. Still, Harper questions how reliable Bianca will be as a CI going forward, and Nolan agrees he'll need to find someone new. Their conversation is interrupted at the precinct when Harper's lawyer shows up, asking her to sign some documents. She takes him into an interrogation room, where he shares some good news about her petition. The moment gets a little emotional for Harper, but he reassures her that everything is moving in the right direction. Meanwhile, Armstrong stops by to chat with Nolan. He advises him to start with a forger as his first informant since they tend to be connected to all kinds of criminal activity. He also mentions that he ran a background check on Abigail and hands Nolan the result. Later at lunch, Nolan brings it up with the rookies, asking for their input. But before he can open the report, Henry and Abigail show up, making his internal conflict even messier. Harper then checks in and asks Nolan where they're headed next. He pulls out a list of potential forgers, and they go to visit the first one, a photographer with a shady side business. The guy quickly gets nervous when they confront him. He tries to bribe Nolan, but they lay it out plainly. He'll work as their informant, and in return, they'll pin the operation on someone else. He agrees and tips them off about a major deal in the works, promising to call once he has more detail. When Nolan gets home, he finds that Henry and Abigail have fully settled in. He starts questioning her many tattoos, and she mentions she almost talked Henry into getting one too. That pushes Nolan to his limit. Feeling overwhelmed, he calls Grace for advice. She invites him to stop by the hospital to talk. Nolan confesses that he's struggling with everything, and Grace suggests he speak honestly with Abigail before things go too far and relationships are damaged. The following morning, Nolan and Harper meet up with the forger, who reveals he was hired to create passports for young women being trafficked by the cartel. The exchange is set to take place at the airport in a couple of hours, giving them time to prepare a takedown. While they wait on site, Nolan brings up the lawyer Harper met with, trying to learn more about her personal life. She quickly shuts him down, and he agrees to back off for now. Just then, Nolan gets a call from Grace. She tells him she read Abigail's background check, and it's bad. Turns out, Abigail has a history of arson and once used a caustic chemical on an ex-boyfriend. Before Nolan can process this, the cartel contact arrive. As they move in to make the arrest, they discover the women involved are actually trying to escape the cartel leader. Unfortunately, one of them kept her phone, which allowed the cartel to track them to the airport. Nolan and Harper suddenly find themselves in a tense standoff with several cartel members. Luckily, the sound of approaching sirens forces the men to flee. Meanwhile, Chen and Bradford check out a potential CI lead. Chen suspects a particular pawn shop might be moving stolen goods, since there's been zero police activity reported there. She hopes to use that as leverage to secure her first informant. The shop owner, Opal Marie Jones, is immediately suspicious of Chen, but after Chen bluffs about calling in code enforcement, Opal shows them a few questionable items. They trace one of the items to a high-end home, where they meet Daisy, Hina Abdullah, the original owner of a stolen handbag. Daisy blames her housekeeper, assuming she's behind the theft, but it turns out the real culprit is her stepdaughter, Olivia, Grace Van Dien. Daisy insists they arrest Olivia and demands they leave the house. Back at the precinct, Olivia opens up, saying her mother passed away, and she's now stuck living with her dad and stepmother. Soon after, Chen gets a call from Opal. Olivia came back to the shop, trying to trade more valuables for a gun. Chen and Bradford rush to Daisy's home, finding Olivia shooting holes in Daisy's collection of expensive purses. As they prepare to take Olivia in, Daisy begins berating her. But before things go further, the recently fired housekeeper steps up and decides to spill the truth, telling the officers where Daisy hides all her drugs. West and Lopez talk to their potential CIA on the green. They hope by paying his golf time that the guy will give them some intel. They are able to find a couple of stolen cars and report to Hickey, who agrees to be on board with them. However, they are pulled into Gray's office to learn that Hickey is an FBI informant, and they are told to stand down. Gray believes that this is a strikeout and dismisses them. Questioning his future, West lays down and chats with Chen's mother about what happened. She tells him to go back to a time when he knew who he was. He arrives at work and tells Lopez that he plans to flip Hickey and prove everyone wrong. West finds that Hickey lied about the motive behind the stolen cars and wants to dig deeper to leverage him. They arrive at the golf course and successfully blackmail him into becoming their CI. Gray commends them for taking away CI from the feds and showing them that they are equal. He congratulates all the rookies on gaining CS and tells West to come in short sleeves. Chen and West come home to find that her mom is headed home after her father apologized. As she leaves, Chen questions her inability for a relationship, and West keeps her positive. He asks how he stopped their divorce and learns that she got Wesley to call them and tell the cost. At Nolan's house, he confronts Henry and Abigail about the elephant in the room, but he reveals he already knew. Abigail tells her what happened. Her ex posted personal videos of them online for revenge, and she retaliated by torching his car. The episode ends with Nolan apologizing and Abigail throwing another pregnancy joke in. What did you think of this episode?